guys, it's Jill here from Jill's Home Remedies and Natural Remedies Mom. I've had a lot of people over the years ask me how to make kefir, and so I thought I would do just a quick video to show how I make kefir, and it's very, very simple. I like to see things done. Instructions written down are very helpful, but to see it done is just so helpful. So I just thought I would show you real quick what I do. This is kefir grains. I'm starting with how grains a lot of times arrive in the mail if you order them online. If you order them dehydrated, you have to treat them a little bit different than what I'm going to show you, and you'll want to follow those instructions. These are live kefir grains and milk, and when I ship kefir grains to people, this is how I ship it. And so this little thing of milk, and what you do when you get the grains is you just put them in a strainer like this, and just kind of strain the milk through like that, okay? And you're going to discard this milk that it came in. Now I'm going to show you, come around to the camera and kind of show you what the grains look like. The kefir grains look like cottage cheese to me. I'm going to show you guys real quick. See if the camera can pick this up. They're just like these little cottage cheese looking things, okay? And so what you do when you, after you strain the kefir, I'm going to go ahead and just dump that in there. This is what you have, okay? So what you're going to do is put these grains in a jar, a glass jar, and put a cup of milk over them. Let them sit on your counter for 24 hours, and you'll have, you might have kefir in the jar, but kefir grains are a living food, and so sometimes they have to get adjusted to their new home. So the very first time that you make, when you put milk in it, you might have to discard that milk after 24 hours. That's what I always do whenever I order grains. And then you put another cup of milk and let that sit for 24 hours, and that should make kefir. You should be able to drink the kefir after the second time that you ferment, okay? Now, what I'm going to show you is I have 2 jars of kefir here. Right now I have 3 jars that I make on a daily or a regular basis because I just have so many grains. But I was going to show you these different jars. This jar right here, I'm going to bring it a little bit closer. I was going to show you, this right here shows how the whey has fermented from the rest of it. And this is because I over fermented it. I just tend to do that sometimes. I get busy and I don't strain it. This is fine. Do not throw it out. It just means it's over fermented. It's going to be a little bit more sour. Might have to add more fruit, or bananas are really good flavoring, especially frozen bananas for kefir. Just whatever, you might have to add a little bit more flavoring to drink it. It'll be a little bit more sour, but don't throw this away. So I was just going to show you this, that this happens, okay? People sometimes will throw it away, and I've been there where I thought, oh no, they're ruined. But no, the only way that you can ruin kefir grains, you don't want to get them hot. So whenever I wash my jars before I put the grains in it, I always rinse them in cold water so the jar is not real hot. Well, that's one thing you can do. And another thing is starving the kefir grains. You don't want to starve them. You want to make sure you keep them fed with milk, because kefir grains eat the lactose in milk, and so once they've eaten all the lactose in the milk, eventually they're going to starve. You have to feed them, So here I have this jar, and I was going to show you a little bit closer. You know that your kefir's done, and this is kind of starting to get over fermented, but it's not too bad. Whenever it starts moving away from the jar, I don't know if you can tell that, but you could just kind of check it, and it's not real thin like milk, and it's kind of jiggly. If you can see that, it's like a thicker substance, kind of like a thin yogurt, And so whenever you tip it, it kind of pulls away from the jar like that, and it's kind of wobbly and jiggly there. So this is what you do after you ferment your kefir. Now, I have a full jar of kefir because I have more than 1 tablespoon of kefir grains. But you put 1 cup of milk per tablespoon of kefir grains. You can do a little bit over a tablespoon of grains, but I have tons, so that's why I have a full jar. And I just put them in the strainer. Now, some people say you shouldn't use metal utensils, metal bowls, metal strainers, anything. And some people say it's not a big deal. So I just stay away from metal just in case, but there's people that make successful kefir and they do just fine with metal. So, and then you just stir it around, and if you can see the kefir going down in that bowl, and you just keep stirring it around until all the liquid is separated from the kefir. Now, I have tons of kefir grains here. My grains have been growing like crazy, and so they're just multiplying and multiplying. And so I have a bunch going on in this strainer, a lot more than 4 tablespoons. So sometimes if your kefir goes like this too, it can be that you have too many grains in the jar, which is easy for me to do because, you know, sometimes you just plop them all back in the jar without measuring them, and you don't realize they multiplied so much and that you have more than 4 tablespoons per quart jar. But so here's all of my grains. I'm gonna make a mess here, but here's all of the grains that I have right now. If you can see that, I just have tons of them that have just multiplied. And so then down, what's in here is the kefir. This is what you consume. This is a probiotic drink that is so healthy for you. And so what I do now is I'm going to go ahead and measure 4 tablespoons into this jar. Just roughly 3, like that. And then all you do is pour milk over it. I use whole milk. That is supposed, some people I've heard use like 2%. Whole milk is recommended the most for making kefir and giving it the food it needs. But you can make non-dairy kefir. That would be a completely different video. And so this is after I've made kefir and strained it. I pour milk in it and put it on the counter for 24 hours, and it turns into kefir. So if it's, sometimes I leave it longer than 24 hours, and that is normally okay. It depends on how warm your house is, what time of year it is. So that is how simple it is to make kefir. And so all these extra grains that I have in here, tons and tons of extra grains, you can put them in smoothies and blend them up, and this will give you just a huge probiotic kick. You can eat them if you want, if you don't mind rubbery things. I don't know that I could quite do that. I know there's some people that do that. You can give them to friends, sell them, whatever you want to do, but you can give them to your animals to give them some probiotic. And so what I do with, and I guess I'll just put this back in this if I don't make too much of a mess. So here's the kefir that I strained, and I just pour it in a jar and store this in the refrigerator. And it stores for months, but we consume at least a quart of kefir a day, a lot of times more than that. And I recommend, if you have never had kefir, that you start off consuming a smaller amount and build your way up to at least a cup a day. Because if your body's not used to probiotics and this healthy food, it's not gonna like hurt you, but it can kind of overwhelm your system. And so that's recommended too, that sometimes it's better. You might get like a stomach ache or something. Sometimes it's better to start off with less. But trying to change the lighting on this. But anyways, so that's how simple it is to make kefir. And one thing that we do is we you know, we blend the kefir with smoothies. You can do kefir and milk if you don't like the taste of kefir as much. That helps it not be quite so tart or sour or whatever. But we drink kefir with, we love frozen bananas and peanut butter in it, and I add like powdered herbs to make it more healthier. And you know, there's lots of ideas that you can do. Kefir is such a great thing for your overall health. We personally in our family have noticed that we get less sick, and that my girls have better teeth. They don't have as many cavities as they did before. So I think that's a little bit better. I was trying to help that lighting there. It was getting dark. My girls don't have as many cavities as they did before, and like when we're drinking it, we just feel better. Our digestive system is so much better because you are flooding your body with probiotics, and you are creating this healthy, good bacteria colony in your body that when it encounters an illness or just, you know, things similar to that, it just, you have this like army inside you that's going to help your body fight that illness, whatever it may be. And so I think everyone would benefit from drinking kefir, you know, and it would help their health. I know the lady that I learned how to make kefir from, someone that I follow online, she had diabetes, and all of that kind of stuff has been completely corrected and reversed, and her daughter had health problems. You just, if you research kefir, you will find so many people that have been helped with kefir, and just have been able to really improve their health and reverse health conditions. So anyways, that's how simple it is. Let me know if you have any questions. And so if you take care of your grains, and like you, as you saw, it does not take very much effort at all, just a few minutes a day, you can have the same grains forever. And you can have this supply of kefir. All you need is milk. And you just feed the grains, and you have this healthy substance for your family forever. And I know people, you know, this lady told me the other day that she's had the same grains for over 20 years, and that's awesome. I've let my grains die too much getting busy, and I let them starve. And the way that you know that your kefir grains are dead is when you make kefir, if it's been a long time since you fed them, and then you try to make kefir and they don't thicken it, the liquid doesn't thicken at all, it just stays really thin, you know you've killed them. And I've done that more than once, just being a busy mom, and you know, but I always get back into it because it's just so good for you. Anyways, thanks for watching, and we will talk to you guys next time.